Hey everybody. This morning I was reading in Proverbs 3, specifically Proverbs 3:26. And this is about what happens in a crisis. And we know what a crisis is. If you look at the definition of crisis, it's basically a time when a difficult or important decision has to be made. It's usually a time of difficulty or trouble. That's how we look at it, right? Well, in Proverbs 3:26, it says, "God is your confidence in times of crisis, keeping your heart at rest in every situation," which sounds as if he's making sure that we have what we need and that we're not supposed to really basically freak out about what's going on. And I was considering this and the times that I've been in a crisis before, and most of those times I did not immediately look to God for help. I have to say that. I will admit that. And I've told him that too. I'm sorry. But a lot of times, what happens is we feel like, oh, we have to do something right now. But that's not always the case. It could be the case if there's, a problem that involves someone is hurt or there's a physical issue that needs to be addressed immediately. Those sorts of things are really important. And even then, you can still say, Jesus, help me, and he will. But if it's something like a financial crisis or maybe a family crisis, relationship crisis, something like that, then what we're really called to do in that and in any crisis is to go to God and say, I need your help. Because there are other places in the Bible where he says that these difficult times that we have, that he won't allow us to be tested beyond our limits, and that he always provides a way out. Unfortunately, we always want that really fast solution, right? That solution that's going to get us the quickest way out of this crisis. But sometimes we have to wait for that answer. Now, if you go to the world and you ask people in the world, well, what should I do? They're going to give you all this conflicting advice. And one person will say this and one person will say that. And after a while, you really feel like you're just kind of, I don't know, wrapped up in knots because of the conflicting advice that you have received. And even if they don't give you conflicting advice, a lot of times the world's wisdom and God's wisdom are two different things. So, what we should always do first is go to God and say, I need help with this. This is a problem. This is a crisis situation. I know you have an answer for me. I need you to give me that answer. And then we have to wait. That is to me the hardest part because I'm kind of like a person of action. I like to take care of things. I like to get them done. Don't like waiting too much. And so that whole waiting on God to bring me the answer, it is always the hardest part for me. And while I'm waiting, I'm always tempted to say, well, I could just go ahead and take care of this if I do this. But that's probably not God's highest and best for me in that situation, right? But invariably, if I think back to the times when I've had a crisis, I know when the answer arrived, the right answer, because other people might be telling me to do this or to do that, but when God drops that answer down into me and I hear it and I know it's there, it brings me peace. So if you ever want a guide for how do I know what I should be doing in this situation, you need to do the thing that brings you peace, because God will never tell you to do something that will bring you fear or anger or uneasiness or anything. His answers always bring peace. And in the past, when I've had a situation where I knew I needed an answer, I often knew exactly when I received it because it brought me peace. So, my advice for you today is stay in the Word. Always remember Proverbs 3:26 because God is our confidence in times of crisis. And remember that if you go to Him and ask Him for an answer, He will give you an answer. When that answer arrives, it will be accompanied by peace. So, I hope that that's kind of helpful for you because I never had anybody tell me that in the past. And having lived through it a few times, I feel like I should pass that on to somebody. So I hope that's helpful for you. You guys have a great week and be blessed.